Hey guys, Jay here, and this wasn't planned or anything, but obviously breaking news today, so this will be yesterday by the time this video comes out. Lawson confirmed as Verstappen's Red Bull teammate for 2025, obviously replacing Sergio Perez, who parted ways with the Red Bull team earlier in the week. So this has obviously caused a lot of controversy amongst fans because of, obviously there's Yuki Tsunoda to consider, and I even did a poll myself when the news came out about Perez leaving, asking who you think should get the seat, and 79 people voted with 73% saying that Yuki deserved that seat, and I agree. In terms of Lawson being promoted to the Red Bull seat, Christian Horner said, quote, "I'm delighted to announce that Liam Lawson will join the team in 2025. Liam's performances over the course of his 2 stints with Visa Cash App Racing Bulls have demonstrated that he is not only capable of delivering strong results, but that he's also a real racer, not afraid to mix it with the best and come out on top." Obviously, if to be fair to Liam, he gave a good fight to Perez during the last races of the season. You'd have to forgive me, I'm coming off of a nasty viral infection that I've had for about 3 weeks, which is why there's been no videos. And like I say, this wasn't planned. I was going to wait until the new year before I did any more videos, both on this channel and my other channel. But I wanted to throw my thoughts into this. Now, in terms of the whole Yuki Tsunoda versus Liam Lawson, as a fan, I think Yuki deserves the seat. He deserves a chance. He's been with the team since 2021. He's been with RB/AlphaTauri, whatever you call them, since 2021. And you can see here, this is his record. I'll just move this up a bit. So, believe it or not, 2024 was Tsunoda's best season. He finished in 12th place with 30 points, just 2 points shy of his best points tally, which was back in 2021. And his best result this year, his best result in his RB career so far was 4th in Abu Dhabi back in 2021. As for this season, you can see here he got 7th in Australia, 7th in Miami, and 7th in Sao Paulo. But like I say, his best result coming back in 2021, but he finished 4th in Abu Dhabi. And if you remember, there was that whole big Michael Massey spiel that happened. So that's that's probably why I can't remember where Yuki was at the time. But anyway, best result was back in 2021. Now, for Liam, obviously he's not had as many races as Yuki. He's only had 11 races total in Formula One. He did 5 races last season, covering for the injured Daniel Ricciardo when Daniel Ricciardo had that crash in Zandvoort, finishing 20th with 2 points. Obviously no one was expecting Liam Lawson to finish high. He was just a substitute. This season, coming in for Danny Rick after the Singapore Grand Prix, 6 races, finishing 21st, but did score 2 more points. Now, in terms of their overall careers, they're pretty similar in terms of, from their early days to now. This is Yuki, got 1st in the Super F1 Japan finals. We got 3rd in the F4 Japanese Championship, 1st in the JAF Formula E East Series, 1st in FA Japanese Championship, and 3rd in the F2 Championship back in 2020. Otherwise, pretty, at least top half of the table up until his Formula One career. For Liam, similar. New Zealand F1600 Championship Series 1st in 2016-17, 2nd in the Australian Formula 4 Championship, 2nd in the ADAC Formula 4 Championship, 2nd in the Euro Formula Open Championship, 1st in the Toyota Racing Series, 2nd in the Toyota Racing Series, 2nd in the Deutsche Tourenwagen Masters, I hope I pronounced that right, and 3rd in the F2 Championship. So actually I didn't pick up on this, but they both finished 3rd in the F2 Championship before their promotion, more or less, although he did get second in the Super Formula last year in 2023. So to be fair, their career results are pretty similar. However, here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to be a bit biased and favouring towards Yuki. Albon and Gasly both were promoted from back then Toro Rosso to RB and given their shot. Obviously, it didn't work out. I personally think that both were let go too soon, especially Gasly. I think Gasly had a lot of potential, and he's become a really great driver. I like Albon as well, don't get me wrong, but what Gasly's done in that Alpine recently is amazing. But they were both given their shot. Obviously, it didn't work out. Yuki's been with the sister team, RB, AlphaTauri, whatever you want to call them, since 2021. Lawson's come in essentially starting as a substitute, and then replacing Ricciardo halfway through the season, and it's basically leapfrogged Yuki. And I think that's not fair. And the other reason I don't think that's fair is, even though Lawson's had fewer races, if you do their points average, so I'm going to go from this season. So Yuki scored 30 points between 24 races. So he scored an average of 1.25 points a race, whereas Lawson, whoops, I wasn't supposed to do that. Whereas Lawson, he got 4 points across 6 races. So that's 0.6. So that's almost a point less. Again, in fairness, not as many races, but it is still a point less per race if you want to look at it that way. I'm not saying that Lawson's a bad driver. He really gave a good go at in his 6 races, but I do think that, in all fairness to both drivers, it should be Yuki first, and ensure if things don't work out with Yuki, say halfway through the season, then do what they did before when they swapped Albon and Gasly. Okay, sorry Yuki, it's not working out. We're going to put you back in RB, and we're going to promote Lawson and give him a chance. Don't really do this usually, but on Twitter, I was curious to see what people were saying, and I did throw my own fault in there, and I said, no disrespect to Lawson, but time for Tsunoda to look for a new team. Gasly and Albon were given chances, yet Yuki has been passed. It wouldn't surprise me that if things don't work out with Lawson, they will still overlook Yuki and sign someone else, possibly HAAS. And at the moment, I do stand by that. I don't see RB really considering Yuki, even though they say they do. When I looked this morning, it was mostly outrage that Yuki didn't get the seat. However, things have changed. There is some love for Lawson now. There are some people that agree that Lawson should be given the chance, and so it is a little mixed. I haven't had a great look, but compared to when I looked earlier, it has changed a little bit. Like I say, I don't usually show things on X because I just use X for just to follow my local football team, that kind of thing. I don't use it for my YouTube stuff. But again, I think it's a shame. Now, if I was to argue with myself here, the one thing I would say that goes against Yuki is his temperament. It's something that's been addressed multiple times in the past. Obviously, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, there was that kind of he had to kind of be pulled to the side and told hey, you can't talk to your engineers like that kind of thing. And then the following race, he actually did, he was a lot more composed on his radio message, from what I remember. So I do worry, is it Yuki's temperament that they worry about? Do they think that Yuki couldn't handle the pressure of being next to Max? Do I think Lawson could challenge Max? I don't know. My gut feeling says maybe, but not yet. It's still too early to say. Don't get me wrong. If Lawson pulls it out of the hat from day one from Australia, then fair play to him. But I do think this isn't a good sign for the young drivers in RB, because they may or may not get overlooked. There's obviously the Honda deal, and some people say that the only reason Yuki's there is because of Honda, and I would hope that's not true. I'd hope Yuki's there based on merit. But what concerns me for Yuki now is, where does he go from here? Because if he's not going to be considered for the main team, he's not going to want to spend his entire F1 career playing, I guess as a development driver, if you will, for the other team, But then the problem then is, where does Yuki go? Like, where would he go? And I hate to say it, but I worry that if anywhere, it would be lower down the field. I don't know if any of the top teams would give Yuki a chance. And I think that's a shame, because I think there is potential. It just needs to be, I don't want to say the word controlled. That's not the right word I'm looking for, but guided. And like I say, if Lawson does well, then great. But on the Lawson side of things, if things don't work out, then what they're going to do, I mean, look at the whole Nick de Vries thing last year. I appreciate that was in RB, but de Vries had an amazing debut with Williams the year before, got signed to RB, and was let go really early. I know he wasn't producing the results, but it's the last sort of year or so, my concern with F1 is it's becoming a bit like Football Managers. Football Manager has been in the job for, say, 5 months, has lost 2 matches. Well, that's not good enough because we're not top of the table, so you're out. And, I get it's a results business, because let's face it, yes, it's a sport, but it's also a business, and it's a results-based business. But you've got to give people a chance. You've got to be patient. You've got to let people develop. Like, look at Albon. When Albon was driving for Toro Rosso, he was amazing. He was really good when he was at Toro Rosso, and he's developed into a nice, solid driver. Fair enough. There's been a lot of DNFs this year, and that's really impacted a lot of us in F1 Fantasy. But in general, Albon is a reliable driver. In terms of like experience and stuff. And when he has a good day, he has a really good day. Like, for example, I think it was in Australia a couple of years back when he was basically a tyre whisperer. He did pretty much the whole Grand Prix on the hard tyres. So yeah, just a random quick video. I'm not surprised, I'm not shocked at this news, but I do feel for Yuki, and it does make me worry for other young drivers, especially within the RB team, and especially when there's things like, they're only signed because of this sponsor or because of this person, that kind of thing. And the drivers should be signed on merit, and my argument here is, I think Yuki, based on merit, deserves at least a chance. Like I say, if halfway through the season it's not working, fair enough. But I think he deserves at least a chance. But, who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm just an F1 fan who plays F1 Fantasy for fun, and does this for fun as well. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Do you agree that it was the right call by RB? Or do you think Yuki should have been given a chance? And, and I feel a little for Perez. I get it. But people do forget, how good of a driver he can be. When he was at Force India / Racing Point, and then when his contract weren't going to be extended, we thought that was the end, RB snapped him up. And taking words from Max Verstappen back in 2021,
Checo is a legend.
And you can't disregard his career despite this year. Checo has been a great team player for Red Bull, and let's face it, without him, Max might not be a 4-time champion. That's not to take anything away from Max, but it is to say, you know, especially in 2021 and 2023, I believe, Perez was definitely, you know, fighting, you know, well, almost fighting with him and definitely helping the RB team. But anyway, guys, that's enough from me. I've rambled on long enough. Again, sorry there's been no content for the last few weeks. I've had a nasty viral infection. There's a nasty one going around here in the UK. I know a couple of people that have had it. And that's why there's been no content both on this channel and my other channel. Because I've just not felt well enough. I'm still not 100%, but I'm a lot better than what I was. And yeah, I just, as a fan of Yuki, as a fan of, you know, Yuki Tsunoda, and just a fan of F1, I just felt this was a bit harsh. Not the end of the world, but a bit harsh. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening to me ramble. I appreciate it. And you know, yeah, just say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, New Year, and I will see you in the new year. I imagine my first video will probably be something like when the new F1 fantasy rules come out. Do want to give a shout out to the FanAmp that did an amazing survey recently, to, you know, asking the players what they thought, what needed changing. Personally, my biggest issue is DNFs. I think that if it's the driver's fault, then the negative points is justified. But if it's not the driver's fault, i.e. if it's because of a technical fault or another driver, then I don't think negative points is justified, personally. So that's my biggest gripe, is DNFs. But again, thanks to FanAmp for doing that survey. Hopefully it'll improve the game when they send it to F1. And yeah, that's it from me. All the best. Have a great time over the next few weeks. And I'll see you in the new year. Peace.